Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Eli and I run my own small business, Crochet Made by Eli. For this week's video, I'm going to be challenging myself to see how much I can crochet in a total of 12 hours. Now, I'm not going to be crocheting for 12 hours straight because even on my best days, I could not do that. But what I'm going to be doing is setting a timer for 12 hours. Every time I crochet, I will press start. Every time I pause, I will pause the timer. Once I've crocheted for a total of 12 hours over however many days that is, then we're going to see how much I was able to crochet. A big reason I'm doing this is because I have a lot of markets coming up, so I need to get some market prep done, specifically market prepping plushies. So we're going to be seeing how many plushies I can crochet in 12 hours. Now, if you are new here, I do have a few other videos already with market prep and market reviews, so make sure you check those out if you're interested. I also post a lot more on my Instagram and my TikTok, so if you want to see a little bit more behind the scenes or just connect with me a bit more, make sure you check out my accounts there. Now, I have a list of things that I want to get done, so this is my list. This is not an exhaustive list. I will probably be adding things and likely won't get everything done, but let me just read off what we've got to do. So I want to have 5 mini ghosts, 5 mini ghost hats, 2 special mini ghosts, 4 pickles, 6 stegosauruses, 4 jellyfishes, 2 mushrooms, 2 butterflies, 4 axolotls, 4 pumpkins, and then a big dinosaur and a big dragon. So again, these are just ideas. It's kind of like a rough list to go off of. I don't think I'll complete everything on this, and I'll probably do stuff that's not on it. My first market is 2 weeks from today, and I want to have a ton of plushies prepped. So hopefully throughout this challenge, we can get most of that list done. I have been prepping a lot of stuff already, so let me show you guys quickly what I've already gotten done. Now, you guys will be seeing all of this in my everything I crocheted in August vlog, but that'll be a couple weeks till that comes out. So first off, Chunky Ghost. He is so big. I used 1 full skein of the Loops and Threads Sweet Snuggles, but it was back when their like recipe or whatever was a little messed up, and it was extra thick and not super soft, not as soft as it normally is anyway. So he worked up good as a ghost, super chunky, super squishy. The only thing is I do want to put some felt on the bottom here, just because I had to use some fabric glue to secure the magic ring, just because of how the yarn was working or not working. So it's a little bit rough. There's a little bit of texture there, if you can see that. So I need to cut out a circle of white felt and glue that. Otherwise, this one is done. Then I've got this full of plushies. So you can see there's a bunch of ghosts in there. So these are the 5 little ghosts that I did, and I do want to make little hats for all of them. Then I made a couple specialty ghosts. So this is a ghost dressed up as a zombie. It does kind of look like a zombie octopus, and so if someone wanted it to be that, it can be that. This one is supposed to be a ghost dressed up as a bee, but same thing, if it's an octo dressed up as a bee, that's fine. And I've got 1 pickle so far. I do want to make a few more of this guy. Then I made this axolotl. This is my own pattern, my chunky axolotl, available over on my Etsy. And then I made this dragon. So I used a free pattern that I found here on YouTube. I don't remember who it's by, but I'm sure I'll put it up on the screen. This guy took over 3 hours to make, just because of how much sewing there was. It's a great pattern, and the tutorials were very helpful. And I do really love how he looks, but for how tiny he is, he took so long. Obviously, if I had used a bigger yarn, I would have been able to get a bigger product. But the 4 legs were crocheted in, and then you had to sew the head, the ears, the wings, and the tail. So it's not too many things, but it was quite time consuming. But he's so cute. Like, he is just adorable. And then obviously I embroidered the eyes. I embroidered the eyes on this one as well, but some of them are gonna have safety eyes. So I'm gonna try to keep a balance of some embroidered, some with safety eyes. So there's some like baby friendly things and some for like older kids. So I want there to be some variety. But with all that being said, let's get started on this challenge. I forgot to mention that while I'm doing this, I am going to be binging the whole Saw series, or as much as I can watch in 12 hours, I guess. I watched the whole series for the first time last week, and obviously I'm immediately obsessed with it and can't believe I waited so long to watch them. but now that I've seen it all, I do need to rewatch them so that I can actually understand what happens in each movie. I always need to watch things a couple times to really understand it, especially if there's no one to explain it as I go. So we are going to be starting with Saw number 1, of course.
Right now, there's a slow-acting poison in your veins. The antidote is inside the same.
We are 30 minutes in, and I just finished my first plushie, which is the Bobble Stitch Stegosaurus. It's a free pattern I found on Pinterest. I do need to still add the eyes, but I'll be adding those all at once at the end. My goal is to make a whole rainbow set of these, so I've got a whole bunch of colors, and I'm just going to do like the main color for the body, and then a nice accent color for the bobbles. So pink is the first one. Next up is going to be the orange one. And it did take basically exactly 30 minutes, but this was my first time making it, so I should be able to get the next one done a little bit quicker now that I've already read the pattern. We are 55 minutes in, and I finished number 2. Super cute. I feel like these colors would work really good for a giraffe, so it kind of makes me want to make a giraffe next. But this one took 25 minutes, so I was right that I can get it done in just under half an hour. This is also a really good color for chicken nuggets, so I might make some little chicken nuggets at some point. We'll see. We are an hour and 22 minutes in, and I finished number 3, so I'm still sticking under half an hour per dino. The next one I'm gonna make is gonna be green, and I'm gonna use this like mint color, I think, for the spikes. Or should I do this? I will decide as I start that. But I finished the first Saw movie, so I'm about to start number 2. I've now seen the first one, I think, 4 times, which means I actually remember it now, which is cool. So I actually can follow along and I know the plot and like don't forget how it ended. Because my biggest struggle with movies is I always forget how they end. I mean, I forget most parts, but especially the ending. So I'll watch a movie, I watch how, you know, I know how it starts, I remember the characters, but I don't remember where the plot goes. So I actually know now. So now we're gonna watch number 2, which I've only seen once before. Same with the rest of the whole series, I've only seen the rest once. So time to start number 2. Also, this one especially just kind of reminds me of a taco. Just like the green kind of looks like lettuce, and it's like it could be a little taco shell. So it kind of makes me want to make a taco. Maybe we'll add that to the list, who knows. We are 2 hours and 43 minutes into it, and I have officially finished all 6 of my Stegos. Look at my little rainbow assortment. After finishing these, I like wish I did the colors just slightly different. Basically, if I were to do it again, I would have done this one with this yellow for the bumps, and then the pink one should have the orange for bumps, and then the purple could have had pink bumps. I know those are weird differences, but I think that would have made it look just slightly better. But all 6 are done. Still don't have any eyes because I'll do those all at some point. So now that that is done, I need to pick the next project that I want to do. It's around 10:30 tonight, so I've still got another couple hours of crocheting. I also just finished the second Saw movie, and I feel like I have a very good understanding of that one now. I feel like I'll remember the plot, so I'll be moving on to the third one once I decide what I want to crochet next. So I remembered I have this book by Jenna, the No-Sew Mini Amigurumi with 40 patterns. So I was just flipping through it, and there is a capybara pattern. They're so little, so I want to make that. It wasn't on my list, but I forgot that that was something I wanted to have prep for my market because they're so cute. But now the question is, what color do I do? Because these are my 2 options. These are showing up a little bit brighter on camera. In person, I would say this one specifically is just slightly more dull, but I feel like a mix of these 2 colors, like something in between these 2, would have been perfect. But this is the only thing I have close to like a brown, dark orange kind of thing. So I looked up some pictures, and this one looks closest, honestly, but this one I feel like also matches. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just do 2 in each color, and then people can decide which one they think looks best. And it looks like It's only 17 rounds total, so I should be able to make a few of these really quick. And they look, it's like the size of her hand in the picture, so I am using a weight 5 yarn, and I believe it's a weight 6 in the pattern. Yeah, so they'll probably turn out a little extra mini, which is totally fine, because that means they can go in my small bins. So I think that's the plan. I'm going to turn on saw number 3 and then crank out a few capybaras. Alrighty, first one is done, other than the face details, because of course I'm going to do them all at the end. But this only took 20 minutes. I think maybe exactly 20 minutes. Yeah, we're at 3 hours and 2 minutes, which means it took me 19 minutes. So I could easily get 3 of these done in an hour, which is great because I can have a really cheap item. But look how cute and mini. The only thing is this bobble is lower. That's just how the pattern is written, but for the next ones I'm gonna adjust it so that this bobble happens in the row before. But other than that, it's adorable. He's so cute. So I think since they don't take long at all, I'm gonna make 3 in each color. It kind of reminds me of a guinea pig as well. I mean, the shape is obviously a little bit different. They don't really have this little divot here, and they get a little bit wider here, but still, it's so cute and tiny. Hi guys, it is 3 a.m., just after 3 a.m., and we are just over 4 hours into the challenge. I did have to fix or like change the timer, so I've got 7 hours and 46 minutes left out of 12 hours because at one point I accidentally pressed start and there was about 2 hours added before I realized. So that was at one point when I was taking a break. But I did some math and reset the timer, or fix the timer, and then kept it going. So we've got 7 hours 46 minutes left in the 12 hours, and I made, oh, let's see, I made a bunch of capybaras. So I finished the 3 orangey ones. Look how cute they are. And then I finished the 3 yellow gold ones. And as I was working with it, I realized how this is like the perfect Jake the dog color. And I also have a purple for Lumpy Space Princess, and I've got black and white for Gunter the Penguin. And those are all patterns that I've designed. I have patterns for all 3 of those characters. So the only thing is the Jake one is quite bigger than the Lumpy Space Princess. Actually, you know what? Jake and Gunter are both bigger than Lumpy Space Princess. So I was thinking that at some point I'm going to want to rewrite those or create mini versions, like a second pattern. So I was thinking maybe for another YouTube video I could do like crocheting all of my patterns or like redoing some of my patterns. There's some buzzy sound somewhere when I'm talking, and I'm hoping that it doesn't pick up on there. Hopefully it doesn't. But anyway, this is what just over 4 hours of crocheting looks like, which is so cool. Like, just look at all of that. I made so many things. And again, it took just under 20 minutes per capybara, so that's awesome. Oh, also, I finished the 4th Saw movie. Well, I finished the 3rd, then I put on the 4th as well. I was debating whether or not I should start it because it was after 1 a.m. when I started it, but this is when I go to bed normally anyway, so I figured why not, and I started it. And I was able to follow the 3rd and especially the 4th a lot easier this time, obviously because I watched them for the first time already. So watching them for the 2nd time, I was able to really follow along with the plot and the timelines, but also I recognized characters, which is a very difficult thing for me when watching movies. I have really bad like facial recognition, and I find it really difficult to tell which character is which person. So in Saw 4 specifically, I got Hoffman, Strom, Matthews, the lawyer, I think those four. I got all four of those confused and could not figure out who was who throughout the whole movie the first time I watched it. But after watching all 10 and then watching a whole bunch of YouTube reviews and just, you know, doing a whole deep dive into the whole series, now I'm able to follow and I was able to recognize the difference in each person's face. So that was cool. But again, it is after 3 a.m. so I'm gonna go to sleep now, or soon. I'm gonna get ready for bed anyway, and then tomorrow we'll be continuing the challenge. And again, we have just under 8 hours, so I would expect this to take 2 more days. I think I'll probably get 5 to 6 hours of it done tomorrow, and then I'll get the rest done on Monday. Hey guys, it is the next day. Today we're going to be starting with embroidering the details on all of these guys, because I don't want to wait too long, because if I wait till the end I might not have enough time or I'm going to procrastinate. So my goal when doing the eyes is every time I finish like 1 or 2 sets, then I'll go through and embroider them. So I'm just going to be using the black and white. I'm pretty sure this one is the Cozy Cub one, but I took all the labels off, so I don't really know. But they're all just gonna have, well, these guys are just gonna have little eyes with some black and white. I don't think I'm gonna do a mouth or anything. And then these guys are gonna have the sleepy capybara face, just like it is in Jenna's pattern. I am, of course, gonna continue the timer for this part, because even though it's not like actually crochet, it is part of the crochet process. Same with, you know, sewing pieces together and everything. It's all part of the process. A lot of people ask me about like a tutorial for the eyes and stuff, and like I could make one, but I just use the tutorials that I find here on YouTube. So it would feel a little weird for me to make a tutorial, because it would just be like basically remaking someone else's. So if you guys like need a tutorial, you literally just search like amigurumi eyes or embroidered eyes, and there's a ton of great videos here on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. It's super easy. So with that being said, if you guys still want me to at some point, let me know and I will, but that's what we're going to be starting with for now. Almost an hour later, and they all have faces now. So for the little stegos, I did these little eyes, just black with a little bit of white. They don't have mouths except for this one. I gave a smile and I was like, I don't really like it, but I didn't feel like taking it off, so that one has a smile. Then the capybaras, look how cute they are. And these faces are so easy to make. Somehow it took me an hour to do all 12 of these, but I guess that ends up being like 5 minutes per plushie, because I think 60 divided by 12 is 5. Yeah, that's 5. So 5 minutes per plushie, which is really more like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 minutes for one of these, and then like 3 minutes for one of these. But anyway, that's fine. I'm just thinking about prices for these, and I'm thinking I'll do these at like $6 and maybe these at $8. And I have some ideas for my signage this time, just to make it a little easier, easier to prep, but also easier to see when people are at the market, because I want it to be very, very clear, of course. And at my last market, I was like right out of signs. Like I used the very last one I had prepped. So I need to make some more price tags and some more price signs. But yeah, that is all done. So we are now going to move on to making the next item, and I'm going to make some jellyfish. So I'm going to be using the pattern from Jenna's book again. This is turning out to just be like a crocheting all of Jenna's items. Honestly, I should have used one of the dinosaur ones from here. I don't think she has a stegosaurus, but I know she does have some dinos. Yeah, she's got a brontosaurus, a dragon, which I will be making the dragon later. And she's got a triceratops. Let's look at the triceratops. Oh, that's so funny. The triceratops was literally the next page after the capybara. But that's what it looks like. So I might make some of those later. We'll see. That one's not like on the top of my list. But, oh, the brontosaurus actually I think I would do instead of that one, because I think That's just one I had in mind already. But we're gonna do the jellyfish now. So let me just find the jellyfish page. Alright, so this is her jellyfish. It's just a basic one. Honestly, it looks a lot like an octopus, but I do my octos slightly different because I like my octos to have a little ruffle, similar to how I did my ghost ruffles, where I do like, I think 3 half double crochet in each stitch, but whatever. We're gonna follow this one, see how long it takes, and then probably prep a few of them. I am putting on Saw 5, of course, because I watched the 4th one last night. I do remember that when I watched this the first time, I didn't love it. Like, I felt like from here on is when they kind of got like, you know, like every series where they make so many. But we'll see how I feel about it after watching it a second time and like actually understanding the story and being able to follow along. So I'll check in once I finish the first jellyfish and we'll see how long it takes. Alrighty, I finished off my first jellyfish. Very cute. I made some small adjustments to just how the body is made, just based on my tension and what works good for me. And I do think I'm going to make the tentacles just slightly different on the next ones, because I'm finding it a little bit hard to keep them in the spiral, just mostly at the base. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but I find it's a little too straight there, so I think I'm going to add some increases to, I don't know, maybe every other, every third stitch, just to help it spiral a little bit better. But it took me just about 40 minutes, I believe. So I have 6 hours and 34 minutes left on the timer. So we're getting really close to halfway through the challenge. But I believe I started it with 7 hours and 15 minutes, so it took me 40 minutes, which isn't bad. It does mean this one will be a little bit more expensive than the other 2 that I've made so far. But I'm thinking, like I said, 6 for the cappy, 10 for the stago, or sorry, 8 for the stago, and then either 10 or 12 for these. We'll see how long it takes when I make the adjustments, but 10 for this would probably be fair, I think. I think 10 would work for it. But I'm going to take a break now to eat some dinner because it is about 7:30. That's 7:30 exact. So I'm going to eat some dinner, come back, continue Saw 5, and make 5 more of these guys in the other colors so I have a full rainbow. Jellyfish number 2 is done, looking very cute. I did change how I did the tentacles, and, or not tentacles because this is a jellyfish, tendrils maybe is the word, but I like how they're curling better on this one versus this one, right? They're just, with my tension and the yarn I'm using, they're just kind of floppy and they're not curling how I want. Also, I did something wrong on this one, and I don't know what I did, but I only had 6 tendrils, whereas this one has 8. So I did something wrong when I was decreasing, I think the first decrease round of the bottom. I must have missed some stitches or something because I only had room for 6, which is really weird. Also on this one, I missed 1 row of the body. So I don't know what's going on, but you can't even really tell. Like, they look very similar. But I do think after this challenge is done, I'm going to take this one apart and redo it, make sure all the math is correct, and redo the tendrils, because that just looks so much like, look how full that is versus this one. And again, not the pattern, my tension, my yarn. I have found this with so many patterns that include like the ruffle curly things like this. Actually, the very first pattern that I ever pattern tested over a year ago was a ice cream cone jellyfish by my friend Ashley at Ashley Dreaming Design. And so it was a jellyfish just like this, and it had an ice cream cone attached, so when you flipped it up, it was supposed to look like a cone, right? And when you flip it down, it's like it's melting. But I noticed that with her ruffle curly things, spirals might be the word, I don't know, whatever. With hers, all the other pattern testers, it looked so good, and with mine, they just were floppy like this, and I don't know what that is, but I think hers had like 2 single crochet in each stitch, and with my yarn and hook size, it just didn't look great for mine, so I ended up doing 3. And it's interesting that a year later I still have a similar problem because my crochet has improved so much. But anyway, I finished the second one, and we are under 6 hours left, so 5 hours 39 minutes. This one did take about an hour, which makes sense because there were 2 more tendrils, and each one is thicker, so they took longer, so that makes sense. So I will have to price these a little bit higher than I was thinking, but I'll figure that out, of course, when we get closer to the market. So we are over halfway through the challenge, but I am going to be taking a break now. My shoulder and arm is just kind of hurting, a bit sore. So I'm going to take a break, not crochet for a bit, and work on some other stuff. It's good timing because I also just finished the 5th Saw movie, and I don't feel like watching the 6th one yet, so that works well. And also reviews on the 5th movie. Pretty much how I felt before of this one. I just didn't like this one as much as the other ones, and I feel like this is kind of where it gets in the series, that it's like, these ones aren't needed, but it's also cool. There's a fly in my room. It keeps landing on me, on my pillows. Anyway, I feel like this is the part in the series where it's not great. They're not necessarily necessary, but it is cool to see the behind the scenes type things, like the logistics of how the traps worked, how they got the people there and everything. But the movie did feel a little bit like stretched out. Like, it was just, it's not as good as the other ones where there's those plot twists and it's like really, you know, like suspenseful or whatever. Like, this one was just kind of like, you know, there was traps and some of them were bad, but it's just, I don't know, I don't think any of these traps were really that horrible compared to other ones. Obviously they're all horrible, but you know, if you guys have seen it, you'll understand what I'm saying. I will watch the 6th one a bit later, but I do feel like the 5th and the 6th, from what I'm remembering, they kind of blur together in my head. I feel like the 6th one kind of could have been mixed with the 5th. Like, I feel like maybe, I don't know, we'll see how I feel after I watch the 6th one, but I feel like it could have been like squished together and just be like one kind of longer movie. But I also don't remember everything that happens in it, so we'll see. But that's the plan for now, taking a break from crochet, working on some other stuff, and I'll check back in with you guys whenever I start the 6th movie. Alrighty, I am back. I did not take a very long break, maybe 30 minutes, but as soon as I stopped crocheting, I was like, oh, I really want to crochet more now. But my shoulder's not actively hurting, so I'm fine. I did some stretches, whole body and hands, wrists, shoulders, whatever. So I decided what I'm going to crochet next. I decided that I'm not going to do any more jellyfish for this challenge just because they take a whole hour each and we've got less than 6 hours left. And so if I were to finish the next 4 colors of jellyfish, that would take up most of the rest of the challenge and that would just be boring and we don't want that. So I decided I'm going to do the possum, Little Mini Possum by Jenna. The only issue is that the gray color I have is a different type of yarn than the rest of the colors. So I've been using Cozy Cub and Posh Pearl, which is a weight 5, but the only gray I have is Sweet Snuggles Light, which is a weight 6. I don't know where the end of that is. So it is slightly thicker, but it's fluffier. So I might be able, you know, I think it'll work. It's pretty close to the other ones, but we're gonna see how that works up. I'm hoping, I mean, obviously I'm hoping it's gonna work fine, but I'm thinking because the gray is the body part, if it does look bigger at all, it'll just be like a chunky belly maybe. So we'll see, but we've got the black, white, gray, and pink, and we're gonna turn these into little possums. And this pattern looks super quick like all of them. So this one, it's only 15 rounds total, but there are some color changes, of course, so we'll see how long that takes. But as usual, I'm gonna make one, I'll let you guys know how long that took, and then see how many more we want to make. I'm thinking probably 4 of these. Because again, they're small, they'll probably be quick, but I also don't know how well they'll sell. So I feel like 4 will be a good amount for these. And I am, of course, going to put on Saw 6 now, so I'll let you guys know at the end what my review is on that one. It's probably going to be the same as how I felt about number 6, but I'll let you guys know. Alright, I finished possum number 1. Look how tiny. Oh my god. Obviously does not have eyes, but I don't need to say that. Super cute, and the gray worked up totally fine. Like, it honestly doesn't even look any different because, again, I am using the same hook size for it, but it's so cute. The only thing is I don't love this part. So, they just, you know, when you're working in the round, things get a little bit twisted, and I feel like this one should be one higher, and I think it would look better if this row of white was actually gray. So for my second one, I'm gonna test how it looks if I move the bobble one row higher and do these stitches gray. It's a very small difference, and again, you're not looking at that part, you're looking at the top, but I just feel like if I can make it, I might as well, because the distance between these is 3 rows, but here is 2 rows, and I don't love that. Tiny difference, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try that for the next one anyway. But he's so tiny, like, and I got small hands. Yeah, it took me basically exactly half an hour, and I don't think I'd be able to speed that up much just because of all the color changes. I have to really pay attention to the pattern. But there's an hour left of the movie, so I should be able to get 2 more done in the movie, and I'm sure I'll be starting the 7th movie once this one's done. So I'll be taking a break at some point though, because I'll need to eat some more food. But yeah, let's see how much we got left on the timer. So 5 hours 13 minutes, doing good. So yeah, I'm gonna continue the movie and make more possums. Oh, possums. Movie number 6 just ended, and I finished my 3rd possum. Look how cute. A little group of babies. Like I was saying, where is it? This one was the first one with how the pattern was written, and I wanted to change the placement of this bobble and add gray here, which I did. So look at that. So I just did that bobble 1 row earlier, and then after the ear, I switched to white. So now the bobbles, the little feet are all even, and it's a nice clean line of gray. So very slight difference, but definitely a needed change. So I'm happy with that. I feel like it's just the slightest thing that makes it perfect. But look how cute they are. And I love that the gray is Sweet Snuggles Light, because it's just a bit softer than the other ones, and it's like it has a little furry body. But like I said, movie 6 is done, and I had forgotten most of the plot of that movie. And I don't like that one. Like, that's definitely one. Number 6 is one that I can definitely say I don't like and I don't think is needed, because it's just going on about like Hoffman and everything. My alarm went off. But like, if I ever rewatch the whole series start to finish, I'm sure I'll watch it just to watch it, but I don't think that one was needed. I didn't find it super entertaining. Like, the traps were like, meh, you know, they weren't too intense. Like, I mean, they're saw traps, so they're still intense, but they're not like the best ones, you know? So I'm like, meh, it's fine. I am gonna start number 7, which I need to check which one number 7 is actually. Okay, so number 7 is Saw 3D, so it's the last one with the actual, like, the normal Saw picture. And then we've got Jigsaw, Spiral, and then Saw X. So I'll start Saw 3D tonight. I'll probably end up watching all of it, but I'm not gonna crochet much more. I'm going to finish the 4th possum and then embroider the eyes, and then I'll be done crocheting for tonight. So probably got like 45 minutes left of work. And the timer is at 4 hours and 21 minutes left. I wish it stopped at 4:20, that would have been cool. Hey guys, it is the next day. Yesterday I finished off the 4 possums, and we are left with just under 4 hours on the timer. So we're in the last third of this challenge. So let me show you guys the possums. Look at how baby and cute they are. And I did finish the eyes. So you can see just the beady little possum eyes. And as I finished these, I really wanted to make a big one, like a big mama possum for all our babies. So we might maybe for one market I'll do some jumbos of all the minis I did, but these 4 are done. They are adorable. For today, I wanted to do another small project, so I was just looking through Jenna's book a little bit more, and I think I want to do the axolotl. But yeah, so this is her axolotl. Again, all the patterns are no-sews, so it's going to be nice and quick. It's a different setup than mine. It's more realistic. Mine, the axolotl pattern I created is a chunky axolotl, so it's all round and blobby. But this one is cute because it is realistic, and I think some people might like that. Some kids might like that. So I've picked out my colors. I've got my rainbow assortment as always, but I'm going to start with light pink and light purple for the first one. And then we're gonna see how long it takes and then decide how many we're gonna make. I think 4 would be a good idea, and I think that's what I put down in my notes. Yeah, so my goal was 4. Same with the jellyfish though. If they end up taking a lot longer, I'll finish the rest of them outside of this challenge. But we'll start 1, see how long it takes, and then go from there.
This sleeve is just looking to know how it's gonna come out. Our house came with this handy sink that's in the laundry room. It looks dirty. I'm letting that sit. I'm getting all of my blocking supplies ready. I feel like we also need a black cat, but I'm out of black yarn, so I need to place an order. I just think that or to feel like I'm slowing down time a little bit, whether it's like relaxing with a hobby. It just feels like it can go so quick. So I didn't get to hear what you guys think. I'm really not sure, but I think it's gonna be so.
This is so adorable. I only have, unfortunately, this much of the green yarn left, so I will just use it for the...
Alrighty, axolotl number 1 is done, and she is very cute. I do wish I had a darker pink because the example has the darker pink, and it just looks so good because that's like classic axolotl. But this works for sure, and especially displayed with the other colors, it'll be clear that it's a nice little rainbow. And I'm sure some little kid is gonna love a pinky purple axolotl. It's funny, it looks so like weird without eyes, but once I add the eyes there, it'll look normal. It took just over 40 minutes, I think 43 exact. We've got 3 hours and 4 minutes left on the timer, and we were at 3:47. But I know it's going to take less for the other ones because, again, first time doing it, so it took a little bit to read the pattern and understand. But also I made a mistake when I was doing the gills, and so I had to frog a row and then redo it. So that took a couple minutes. So I'm expecting it to take 35 to 40. To make another one, so I'll have to figure out price on that, but probably $10 I think, because like the cappies are gonna be 6, these and the stegos are 8 based on just the timing they take, and I can do 2 of these in an hour, and I can do 1.5 of these in an hour. So I think 10 for this is probably, I'll decide between $10 and $12 for these ones, but I'll figure that out later. So I'm gonna start on the next one. We are gonna do the yellow and gold color, and then we'll do a green one next, and then a blue. Maybe I'll do a purple with like a dark blue gill. We'll see, but for now we're gonna do the yellow and gold. I also need to pause to eat dinner in 40 minutes, so if I start this now, I should be able to finish it before 7 when dinner is going to be ready. So let's see if we can get it done in under 40 minutes. All right, number 2 is done, and he looks like a little sun. Isn't that so cute? Reminds me of this jumbo axolotl pattern that I saw someone release on Instagram, but they were basically like jumbo like pillows basically. They were so cute. But anyway, all done. I really like these colors together, and this took 33 minutes, so definitely can get them done under 40. So they take almost the same amount of time as the possums, but they definitely use more yarn, of course. So I'm thinking $10 is probably a good price for these, I think, because I can get almost 2 done in an hour. Almost 2. It would take me, I guess, probably an hour and 10 minutes to make 2 of them. But yeah, number 2 is done, so we've got pink and yellow. Now I'm gonna take a break, eat some dinner, hang out with my family for a little bit, and I will meet you guys back here whenever I start the next one. Hey guys, it has been a bit, but I finished all 4 of my axolotls. And this is the face I decided to go with. Just the 2 eyes with a little white outline and then just a derpy little mouth. So we've got the pink with purple, yellow with gold. The white doesn't show up as much on the yellow, but it's fine. Then I decided to do green and dark blue because I just felt like these 2 shades looked really nice together. But then I was like, I don't know what to do for the 4th one, so I ended up going with dark blue and this like light blue for the accents. And I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I did have the opposite one. This is my axolotl pattern. So as you guys can see, this is a much more like cartoonish, chunky one. It's called the chunky axolotl pattern. So that's my pattern versus the no-sew version. Well, this one also is no-sew, it's just that these are surface crocheted, same as the tail, whereas this one they're crocheted as you go, which is a really cool technique that I had never learned before, so that's cool. But yeah, all 4 are done, so I've got my little array of them. I think they're super cute. And we have just over an hour left on the timer. 1 hour and 6 minutes. So we are basically in the last hour of the challenge. So now I need to decide what I want to do next. So I took some time to read through the book and figure out which pattern I want to do next. And I decided I'm going to do the leaping lizard pattern because it looks small, simple, and should be fast. So with just over an hour left, I'm hoping I can get 2 of them done if they take, you know, a half hour or less. And I don't think I would make any more than 2 just because it's not as common as a pattern. I don't want to prep a bunch and not have them sell, but I do have a really good green for it. And I was just looking up lizard colors, and obviously they can come in so many different colors, but green is very common, and I think people will notice that as like lizard. But some of them also have yellow bellies, so I was thinking I could make one solid green and then make the second one have a bit of a yellow belly. That might be cute. But I'm going to start with just the solid green, see how long that takes, as usual, check in, and then we will go from there. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, I haven't been watching Saw today, and so I haven't been talking about it, just because I started the 7th movie last night, and I got like a half hour into it, and then I just was not feeling it, and just decided I don't want to watch these right now. So I might end up finishing it later tonight, but I also had a bunch of YouTube videos that came out today, because it is Monday, so I've just been binging YouTube videos instead. Because that's just what I felt like. All right, guys, my lizards are done, other than the eyes. That one's head looked a little crooked, but they actually worked up really well. The tails were just annoying because just a few amount of stitches. It can be kind of hard to work with, and having a smaller hook, and the hook is hurting my hands. So these 2 are done. We just need to embroider eyes, and we have 5 minutes and 25 seconds left on the timer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those done. I don't think it'll take a full 5 minutes, but then once that is done, our 12-hour challenge will be done. Okay, I finished the eyes on this one, all done, and this one I just finished, or I'm finishing the black, and I just need to add the white. So I'm just gonna go do that real quick, and I'll be back. Alrighty, lizard number 2 officially has eyes. No mouth for these guys, because I don't think they need them, but look how cute. So that is the end of our 12-hour challenge, which is awesome. I am very tired. My hand is really hurting because this is the hook I've been using. Metal, and it's a 4mm. I do have a 4mm with the handle thingy on it, this part, but it twists so much. Like, if you can see that, right, the hook isn't moving. So as I use it, the handle starts twisting and moving all around, and I end up having to pause every few stitches to adjust it. So that is the case for most of the hooks I have. So I'm gonna fix that by super gluing the hook into the handle, but I haven't done that yet. So that's why I've been using this one, and it's specifically hurting this part of my hand because I hold my hook like this with my thumb, and then this pushes up there, so that's been hurting. But with all of that said, it is almost midnight. I am tired, so I'm going to see you guys tomorrow to do a full recap on everything that we made in this challenge and the total price of all the inventory that I was able to make in 12 hours. So I will see you guys then. Hey guys, it is the next day and it's time to show you everything that we made during our 12-hour challenge. I'm going to go over each item, how long each one took, and what I'm pricing them at the market, and then at the end I will recap how many items total and the total price of all the inventory that we were able to make. So first off were our 6 mini Stegosauruses. So we've got our purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and pink. These guys took just over a half hour to make, and I'm going to be pricing them at $10. Next up, we made our 6 capybaras, 3 in this darker orange color, and then 3 in this lighter gold color, and they've got their cute little sleepy faces. These guys only take 20 minutes to make each, so I'm going to be pricing them at $6. Next up, we made our baby possums, which might be one of my favorite items. These guys took 30 minutes, and I'm going to be pricing them at $8 each. Then on to bin 2. We've got our 2 jellyfish. Again, I will be redoing this one, but for the sake of the video, we're just going to count him. So we've got the 2 jellyfish, and these take about an hour to make each, so I'm going to be pricing them at $15. Then we've got the 4 axolotls. This one's my favorite because he looks like a little sun. These guys take half an hour to make, and I'll be pricing them at $10 as well. Same with the stegos. Then finally we have the 2 lizards. These guys took about a half hour as well, but I'm going to be pricing these at $8. And the reason why some of them that took a half hour are slightly more than others is because some of them did involve color changes. So these ones that involved color changes or things that need to be stitched on are just a little bit more pricey than these guys that are done in all one color and all one piece. So in total, we made 24 items in 12 hours, so an average of half an hour per item, which is really, really cool. Now we just need to do some math and see the total price of everything that we were able to make. All right, the total price of the inventory we made is $214. So for a 12-hour challenge, making $214 worth of inventory and 24 different items is awesome. So I am really happy with how this went. I feel like this was a really fun way to just try out different patterns and just really time out exactly how long an item takes, which is definitely important when we're looking at pricing, especially for little guys like these. Because if I didn't time it, I would price a lot of these similar, and some of them are definitely more work than others. So that was a really fun challenge to do. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, these are all market prep for my upcoming markets. So if you guys haven't seen my previous videos, I do have a few up on my channel going over my previous markets and some market prep. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you go check those out. And if you want to see my upcoming markets and how all of this stuff sells, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so that you never miss an upload. If you guys watched this video all the way to the end, thank you so much for supporting me and my channel, so don't forget to like this video. I would also love it if you guys comment and tell me what your favorite item is that I made in this challenge. Mine is definitely the mini possums because they're just so cute, and I really feel like the next thing I need to do is make a giant mama possum for all of these little babies. So maybe we'll have a jumbo video coming out sometime soon, but we'll see. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, supporting me and supporting my channel. I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you'd like me to make more videos like this, maybe binge another series and do another challenge, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, hopefully I will see you guys next week.